Hello, everybody. I am Chris Parrish, alongside with the Canadian Goose and Edward F. Don't call me Fries Freeze, or call me Fries or Freeze. And we're here with another episode of Love Wrestling Reacts, the Money in the Bank edition. Guys, welcome. Thank you. What did you think of the show? Goose, we'll start with you.
I liked it. I thought it was a good wrestling show tonight, for sure. I was very happy to see fans back in the building for this one, because there was a lot of big stuff on this show, and yeah, I thought it was incredible, and the ending made me really happy too.
Ed?
I agree. I mean, this show was fantastic. The fans really added a bunch to it, but more importantly, it's nice to see WWE making an idea to. And again, I know we're rumored to be getting Goldberg. The end of the show is the end of the show, and we know what we're seeing at SummerSlam in terms of the SmackDown title match. But they made a choice today to push younger talent, to push, even if not younger talent, stars that haven't been pushed before. They're pushing Big E. They're going to push Nikki with these briefcases. They have a chance to do something really well with these briefcases. Tonight's show was a really good proving ground that WWE can continue pushing stars who might not have always been in the limelight.
Yeah, and if you don't want to be in the limelight, but you want to get in shape and you want to start looking good, make sure you check out our sponsor, Below RK Athletics. We don't want to go any longer without saying thank you to RK Athletics for being such a great sponsor. And then welcome Kevin Rowland as he comes out. That closeout, though.
Yeah,
and
good stuff.
I guess that's all the promo you need for Cena. And then our good old friend Pluggo. It was a killer show outside of Peacock effing up.
Yeah, that was bad.
I mean, the last thing any man needs is their Peacock having performance issues.
But
RK Athletics will help you. Make sure that you don't have those issues, though.
Yeah. Luckily, in Canada, we don't have
Blue Chew now.
Well, I'm talking about a TV station there, Goose, so naughty. But with that being said, I mean, luckily being in Canada, we don't have to deal with the Peacock, so we got the network.
Lucky
and it was just gravy.
Yeah,
Pluggo, by the way, I'd like to know if you beat Spencer, because as you can tell on this C right there, I definitely did when it came to Money in the Bank, as I am the new Love Wrestling Elite Champion. So we got Ecto Guy 87, first WWE pay-per-view in a while I was generally into. And then we have Cody, the briefcase matches. What the briefcase matches always should be an opportunity given to someone who hasn't been in the title scene. Completely agree. And let's start off with that. We saw Well, I mean, let's start off with a kickoff before we go to the first Money in the Bank. We saw the Usos defeat the Mysterios, becoming the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions in the pre-show. What did we think about the Usos becoming new Tag Team Champions? And what did we think about this match being on the pre-show? Because I stated on the POS show, this match should have been on the main. Ed, we'll start off with you.
I don't mind this match being on the pre-show. I think it's a great way to get the fans hyped for the show. I don't think AJ and Almas versus the Viking Raiders would have done the same to get the crowd ready for that ladder match that started the show. So I think this match did a really good job of it. I have a hard time being super thrilled that the Usos are champions again. I love the Usos. I think they're fantastic. I don't like the idea that we're rewarding Jimmy Uso right now. I don't.
I have so much opinions about that I agree with you there. I also don't understand why you're taking the titles off the Mysterios so soon. Goose, your thoughts, as you are also a former tag team champion. What are your opinions about the Usos becoming, I believe now, the 7-time tag team champions?
Not the same tag team championships that I
No,
won.
but a tag team champion in your own right. It's a privilege to be a champion in pro wrestling. But your thoughts on the Mysterios losing the titles to the Usos?
Well, honestly, normally I don't really tune in for these pre-shows that much. So I was going to do that tonight. And then when I did tune in, this match was in progress. What I saw of the match, I really, I did like it was physically like a really good, hard hitting match and everything. But like it was just a pre-show match, but then they won the belts and then it was kind of treated like it was a kind of a big deal. So maybe from now on, I should be tuning into the pre-shows.
Yeah, that was surprisingly a take that I'm glad you brought up, Goose. It's one of those things. It's like a live event. Sometimes you just don't know what you can expect on a dark match. I thought this one show just being in front of a crowd, I thought you didn't need a kickoff match. I understand why it's there, but man, I thought this would have been a banger of an opening match to the actual pay-per-view. And I just thought, you know what? Let's just give it all to the fans tonight. No pre-match, no kickoff match. Everything's the pay-per-view. Let's make this pay-per-view amazing, because Money in the Bank surely is becoming one of the top pay-per-views WWE has. And I don't know about you guys, but I think it's slowly pushing out Survivor Series, in my opinion, as one of the top 4.
Oh, absolutely. I think the reason why you don't put this on the main card, if you're going to not have a pre-show match at all, is because of the fact that the pre-show is, you should always have a banger of a match on the pre-show, because you want the pre-show to bring in fans who might not be watching your show. You can watch this thing on YouTube. You can watch it on Twitch. You can watch it everywhere. So WWE wants you to watch that and then go, I should watch the pay-per-view. Now, granted, what are you doing watching this if you're not already watching the show? I don't know. But at the same time, WWE has fallen in love with this 3.5 hour-ish show in the pandemic. And I think it's a great idea, because I'm not in for these 5-hour shows anymore. I don't want these 5-6 hour manias. I don't want, a 4-hour show that starts at 8 p.m. and ends at midnight. On the big 4, I want these 6-7 match shows with a match on the pre-show. And I think if you were going to do that, then that means you're going to have to take time away from every other match to give this match a decent amount of time.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that all the matches tonight did get plenty of time, and as it should, because we saw some absolute killer matches here. Cody, before we get to the first, the ladies' Money in the Bank, the Usos Mysterios pre-show is a good way to get free YouTube viewers hyped to buy the show. AJ Omos was a good cool down between the Money in the Bank and the Lashley match. I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. Maybe it's just me wanting more eyes on the tag team in the...
I don't know. I'd be surprised if we found out that Usos versus Mysterios match garnered them a lot of new subscribers to the WWE network, just based on the fact that match happened on the pre-show. Like, I don't think they're making a whole lot of numbers off those pre-shows. You know what I mean?
Well, to be honest, we here don't know what the numbers are. We don't know what they generate. We do know that we're now down to 2, as Ed is no longer visible to list or to watch. I'm sure he will be back. Ed, I'm just going to remove you. I will add you back as soon as you get fixed. I do want to get to the Money in the Bank ladies match because I thought that was an absolute crowd pleaser. I don't know like what to say. There's action everywhere. Nikki almost superhero is what the ASH stands for, which I think is absolutely hilarious. Just amazing. Comes out as the winner. To me, a huge dark horse. What did you think of this match? And what did you think about Nikki ASH becoming the new Money in the Bank?
I'm obviously like a huge fan of Nikki's new gimmick. I think I made that clear the first time I talked about it on here, but it's continuing to hit close to home for the old Canadian Goose, like a superhero underdog character. Yeah, I can get behind that 100%. So yeah, I thought that was really great. I thought the match itself with all the ladders and stuff was fantastic. Nikki's big dive from the one ladder that was outside the ring onto everybody was really cool. Although it looked like she almost lost her footing and biffed it.
It's not an easy spot. I have tried that and I absolutely crashed and burned.
I think the move is just to be like, "Hey ref, come hold this ladder." You know,
it's surprisingly a lot harder to jump off a ladder and get distance than it is anything else. It's not just that; it's honestly a platform I find. Plus, I have crappy footwork and balancing on my feet, so there's also that. But I really thought Natalya really shined from a mind standpoint. She really controlled this match. I thought, as I'm just going to bring Ed back in the screen. Ed,
Sorry about that.
You're back. It is okay.
Natalya was kind of leading traffic out there.
Yeah, I thought Naomi stood out in this match. I thought she was very good. I thought Liv Morgan shined as she should have. And I'm happy she didn't win this match because I do think her rise to a title should be more organic and more earned. Ed, we'll turn to you now that you're back. What did you think about this match? How did you view it? And what did you think about Nikki, almost superhero, ASH, winning and becoming your Money in the Bank?
I really liked it. I thought it was a well-told match. Like you guys said, the match was really well called by everybody in the ring. Alexa, Natalya, and Naomi really did a good job of directing traffic, making sure that people where they needed to be. Some of the weaker competitors weren't, over. You didn't see any spots where people looked like they were out of their depth. And with people like Liv,
weaker, but like
no, I meant people who didn't look like they were out of their depth. Like you have people like Zelina and you have Liv who've never been in a situation like this before, in a big match like this with a potential, like Liv was saying earlier, she's treating this match like it's one of the base matches of her life. So it's important to see that she had a really good showing. The feud she has potentially coming up with Sonya Deville when Sonya comes back could be fantastic. And Nikki having this title is going to be really good for developing that character. And they're pushing a character that a pro wrestler wants to push. This is a character from Nikki Cross. As crazy as we might think it might have been for her to go from the character she had to Nikki, almost a superhero, this is a character she wants to do, and the company's behind it. We have to give them credit for finally being behind a storyline that one of their talent is bringing to them.
Now that brings me to this question asked by Cody. What did you guys think of the fan reactions through the match, particularly the loud boos for Natalya and Tamina and the cheers for Alexa, Liv, and especially Naomi? Goose, I'll turn to you because, again, this was the first, even for some of these performers, even though SmackDown was in front of the fans, some of the Raw performers still have yet to be in front of fans again. What did you think about the crowd in this match? And to answer Cody's question, what did you think about their choice on who they reacted for?
I honestly didn't notice any particular like, oh wow, they're really cheering for this person or they're really booing this person. But I just was like, yay, there's people there. There's emotions happening in the stands and it's resonating throughout the television and making this experience more complete than had I watched it. More complete than had I watched it at home while the two guys wrestled in an empty arena surrounded by TV screens with fake crowd noise pumped in, like just like the whole overall atmosphere was so much better to me, so much better than anything we've seen since they since the WWE's brought back the crowds, like I know they brought them back on SmackDown, but I didn't get a chance to see that. So for me, this is the first show I've seen back with crowds other than WrestleMania, and I thought it was pretty special.
Yeah, Ed, we'll turn to you to answer this question because personally, I thought it was just refreshing again to hear this. What did you think about the crowd reaction and who they chose to cheer and boo in this match?
In this match, it made sense. Natalya and Tamina, while they are, veterans and everything else, they're portrayed as heels. So the crowd loudly booing them is a good thing. It means that your storylines are being told. Now, granted, it might mean that we don't want to see them here, which is an entirely different story, but at least they're getting booed like they're supposed to as heels. Alexa getting cheered is fine because I don't think WWE considers her a heel. Liv being cheered is great for them. She's getting a reaction. It's a positive one, and they're telling her story as a babyface. So her and Naomi being cheered are good things. With the exception of the Charlotte match, the Charlotte Rhea match, and we'll get to that, I didn't think the crowd had a huge amount of missteps tonight.
Yeah. When we're talking about setting this a tone for the match, I thought this match not only did that, but I thought the crowd also set a tone just for how they were going to go in this match. And it very much felt like, I don't know about you guys, but this felt more like a traditional big event feel than maybe even Mania to me, just because the fans appreciated what they were getting, it seemed like. Whereas in Mania, it just felt maybe a little bit more forced because it was Mania. And this time it really felt more organic and more natural to me. So I think the fans really chose.
Nobody had to sit in the rain.
Well, I mean, they did it on night too.
I also think that the difference between this and Mania is at Mania, we knew we weren't keeping it. Now we know that going forward, this is the standard that we're setting. We're back. We're back full time. And unless something absolutely terrible happens, this is what we're going to see. So get ready.
Yeah. And speaking of getting ready, we are getting ready to go to the Raw Tag Team title match. But before we get there, I just want everyone in the chat to, get as interactive as possible. We'd love to hear from you guys, as Ecto Guy flat out saying the fans weren't being told who to cheer, who to boo via the Thunderdome, which is definitely a fair point.
I don't think they're even told when the Thunderdome.
Oh no, they are.
I don't get me wrong. I'm sure they're told to react, but I don't think any of that audio is recorded and used. I'm pretty sure they're just pumping in like video game stuff they have recorded from, when they're making their video games or whatever. I highly doubt they're recording the audio from everyone's home. I hope not, actually.
No, they're not using the audio. They're not using the audio, but the Thunderdome was we're telling you what we want you to do. You're going to give us the reactions that we want. Yeah, and they were going to match that reaction with the canned noise that they had.
Yeah, but the noise was all canned, right? Like that's
oh god, yeah.
That was my point.
There's no way WWE is giving fans at home with a microphone and a webcam the ability to say whatever they want.
It would be chaos.
But yeah, no, anybody and everyone in the chat, if you want to get interactive, get involved, we highly recommend you do so, provided that you stay positive, provided that you do not use any slander or anything like that. But also, if you have a chance to tell any of your friends to come in, hop on, want to chat some pro wrestling, and talk more about this great event that we just witnessed in Money at the Bank, please do so and spread the word. We are live at twitch.tv/lovewrestlingca. We moved to the Raw tag team title match between Omos and AJ and the Viking Raiders. I actually thought this was a pretty solid tag team match, better than I actually anticipated. The only thing I'm going to say is that it looked very awkward for Omos when he was getting taken it too, and
Yeah.
like his little, it
His
just seemed a
selling was
little
really awkward.
awkward is a good thing, but at the same time, like I love the fact that it meant something to take him down to a knee and things like that. But really think the whole
yeah, like
it just wasn't for me. I'm gonna throw it to you, Ed. What did you think about this match? And am I making too much of this?
I mean, no, you guys are the ones that are in the ring. You guys are the ones that learn how to do this. I'm the guy who sits at home and goes, "Yeah, this looks great. I'll cheer this. I'll boo this." But you guys are the ones that learn what selling is and how it's supposed to look. Does it look awkward to me? A little bit, but then again, the dude's 7'4" and used to play basketball and can lift a 300-pound guy with little effort. I'm cool with whatever they want to tell the story about that. And if that means the dude looks awkward when he's getting beaten up by two huge Viking guys, fine. I'm cool with that story. You also you got to remember, I give Chris, I give these guys a ton of breaks on the Viking Raiders because I've been watching Chris Hansen for 10 years in the local indies and Ring of Honor and things like that. Like I've been watching this guy for years. So I give this guy a pass on everything. I love everything this guy does. He's super athletic. He makes me smile when I watch him wrestle.
Oh yeah, no, I'm on Omos here on his side.
No,
on the Viking
I'm
Raiders.
just saying. I'm just saying everything in total. It's like there's very rarely a bad match when this guy's in there because he makes me smile. Omos is getting there, but like the guy's had 5 matches. He had no matches in NXT. He was never there. He was the big ninja, so nobody ever got to attack him. This is long-term storytelling with Eric actually getting to fight him.
Like, what do you expect? Nice. Like, the guy is like 7 foot tall. Do you expect him to whip the guy off the ropes, leapfrog over him, then do a drop down, maybe get like that's not what it's about. Like, he doesn't need to do that. Yeah, like just.
I just don't expect him to do this.
Basically, every time like he got in the ring, the other guys would just run at him, and the guy would just like club them down, and that's pretty much what happened. But yeah, like when he was in peril, like Parrish was saying, it looked a little funky and weird, and maybe is something he might want to consider working on. But I mean, he's there working with the best people in the business, so I'd be surprised if it becomes a lasting problem.
I am going to say I'm very surprised with his timing, his just being fluent in the ring so far, being so new into this. Him and AJ surprisingly have amazing chemistry, and we can always say, well, it's AJ Styles. True. But, I mean, we can see Asuka and Rhea. Sometimes you don't always gel with people. It just happens. Even some of the best don't always gel with each other necessarily. But I'm very surprised with Omos and just his ability to, you know, where we first saw him to where he is now. It's very impressive. Viking Raiders are just, to me, a tag. Like, I would have loved to see them win the tag titles. However, I just don't. I like the act of Omos and AJ is just too good right now, and I have a feeling they're going to go up against Riddle and Randy Orton, and we might see that at SummerSlam. What do you guys think about the Viking Raiders moving past this with the loss now? What does this do for the Viking Raiders, and where do you see them going?
Well, before we get to that, I just want to put over Omos and AJ for that one move where Omos based AJ, and then AJ flew out of the fucking ring, did like a flip in the air, landed on the guy, gave him a Hurricane Rana to the floor. That was like amazing. I was like, wow, that was pretty impressive. But as far as the Viking Raider, I don't know what the plan is for them. Like they've kind of come up since they come up from NXT. They've just been kind of like in comedy nonsense.
Yeah,
I could see a heel turn coming for them. AJ started to work this match as a face halfway through. It seemed like to me he was playing for the hot tag as he always does with Omos. But I mean, like. He was really playing babyface for most of this match. So I could see a nice little heel turn for the Viking Raiders and them destroying teams like the New Day and destroying, you know, Lucha House Party and just biding their time until you get to potentially Riddle and Orton versus them at, you know, whatever comes after SummerSlam, heading into Survivor Series.
Yeah, I'd really like them to do a little bit of a shakeup come this draft and maybe see the Viking Raiders go to SmackDown. I think they would do very well against, maybe Alpha Academy. Maybe it's a Dirty Dogs, like something like that. A fresh matchup, I think, would do very well for them. Speaking of, I guess, fresh matchups, we have Bobby Lashley against Kofi Kingston here today. I thought this was a pretty one-sided match for the WWE Championship. It highlighted Bobby Lashley very well. He retained this championship due to his good old master lock. That's what I still call it. I mean, they can call it whatever they want, but it's quite amazing to me just the rise of Bobby Lashley in the 5 months that he is WWE champion. With Goldberg set to appear on Monday Night Raw, we look like we could be lined up against a Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley match at SummerSlam. What do we think of this? What did we think about the match? And should Kofi Kingston have gotten more in this match?
I mean,
we'll start with you.
Oh, sorry. You can always let Kofi get a little bit more in. He's been there long enough to be able to kind of pick his spots and be able to find a way to get moves in and get offense in. But this match made Bobby Lashley, as I said in the chat, it made him look like $1 million. It made him look big. It made him look strong. It made him look like a killer again. The Bobby Lashley that we've been waiting to see. If we had seen this Bobby Lashley during the entire Hurt Business, the Hurt Business wouldn't be just him and MVP right now. Because that could be a killer Bobby Lashley with the people behind him. That being said, him versus Goldberg, I'm in for the match. Now, granted, I fantasy booked this to myself, and if I'm right, then great, because it's going to end with a really cool moment for me. If I'm wrong, then Bobby Lashley beats Goldberg at SummerSlam, and that's good too. But I have this playing out that with Big E having won the Money in the Bank, that Goldberg beats Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam. Goldberg celebrating, he's doing his Goldberg thing, and then all of a sudden you hear, "Don't you dare be sour." And that arena is going to blow the roof off. If Big E comes down and gets his dream match with Goldberg, cashes in, and wins his first world title.
Yeah, and I said something similar on the POS show, saying that if Big E was to win, I would love to see something similar to how Rollins cashed in at Mania and Big E cashes in on this match, but it's really the New Day just taking out both Lashley and Goldberg, and Big E's just the one that's standing tall, and it's really the New Day just taking over WWE as we know it. I think that'd just be really cool of a sign as we go into like the new kind of era of the post-pandemic. As long as this comes out to something good for someone, because whether it's Bobby Lashley himself, whether it is Big E, I think we can all agree that Bill Goldberg is nobody's answer for the WWE Championship. But as long as it's putting someone over, I think that's all that matters here. I just don't like squash matches for the heavyweight championship. Goose, we'll turn to you. What did you think about this match? What did you think about it being one-sided?
It didn't bother me. I actually am kind of a fan of like a one-sided heavyweight squash match every once in a blue moon when it's like saved for a good occasion, like Goldberg coming back and squashing Brock Lesnar, or Brock Lesnar coming back and squashing John Cena. Like these are like tremendous, like embedded in my mind. This one, I kind of feel like maybe it should have not gone as long as it even did, but like that, I don't think that that's a bad thing on Kofi. Like, I don't think Kofi's a bad wrestler or that he's bad because he got beat up. And like, that's his job, is to make Bobby Lashley look like an absolute murderer and a killer. And I think Kofi did a great job, because I'm more invested in Bobby Lashley right now than I have been in a long time. Like many of the Raws I've seen and stuff, like he does, like he striked me as kind of like, kind of a jerk off. He just, he's sitting back there with all his women and smoking cigars. He's got his big sunglasses, and it's like, no, maybe he's not taking things seriously. But then he came out and obviously like yeah, he's taking things a little more seriously than Kofi is. So
I believe Jupiter Vision has just rated us. I don't have the Twitch for it, but thank you so much, Jupiter Vision, for that. We appreciate it. Yeah,
he did like
and
a one-man raid.
shout out to Claudia. No, I
Nine
can't tell
people.
right now. Nine people. There you go.
Oh,
How
nine
can you
people.
tell?
Okay. See,
I have my
I'm
Twitch
just
open
looking
on
at
the
the
bottom.
screen thing here. And
I still have my
fair
Twitch
enough.
open. I'm in the Twitch chat.
I usually do have the Twitch thing open. I do not this time around.
Okay.
But yeah, no, anyway, we appreciate the raid. Thank you for being here. We very much are happy that you could join us. I don't hate the fact that Kofi Kingston lost. I do like the fact that we saw a WWE Championship match that didn't involve Drew McIntyre. That was nice to see for once. But with that being said, I don't know. To me, when I see just one-sided beatdowns for with the title, it just makes me wonder why I cared about the match in the first place. And then when I see the world title being associated with it, it just doesn't do much for me. That's just my personal opinion. But we do talk about a title that meant a lot to people, and that is the Raw Women's Championship. And that's where we draw to next between Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, which, yeah, they both want to be the Raw Women's Champion. I think we all can agree that this might not have been the best story leading up to the match, but this match absolutely killed it and fired on every cylinder, even ones we didn't expect existed. This was an absolute amazing match. Goose, we'll start with you this time. What did you think about this match?
Yeah, I thought this was a pretty good match. Like a lot of back and forth action, lots of like cool reversals and slams and stuff. And then, you know, you got Charlotte who did the big diving moonsault to the floor where she pretty much looked like she totally did like a complete backflip and like landed on her back, which probably doesn't feel so, you know, wonderful, but it was amazing to look at. And again, like having actual people there cheering made a big difference, especially for this match, because I had like these two ladies have not been lighting my world on fire whenever I've been watching them on like Raw or SmackDown or any of their previous pay-per-view work. Like they're just not doing it for me. But with some people there putting in some like emotion and stuff into this, I thought it was far better than anything I've seen from them before.
Yeah, Ed, we'll turn to you. I also want to point out we saw Charlotte get a little bit interactive with the crowd before the match. I thought it was fantastic, to be honest. This is what I miss about pro wrestling. But what did you think about this match, and how did you view it, despite maybe how they got there in terms of the storyline?
I really enjoyed this match. I enjoyed this match at WrestleMania 36 when we had it in the Thunderdome, when we had it in the no fans era. I thought it was the match of the night that night. I really did. I really, really enjoyed their first match. I thought they killed it. This match was really, really good. I could have done without the "We Want Becky" chants. I really could have. Mm-hmm. These two girls were out there getting ready to kill it, and they did, and they had a great match. And I really could have done without the chants for Becky. I know the fans want Becky, but, you know, there's a time and a place, and this wasn't the time or the place, in my mind, in this match. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'll go twofold. One, I don't think it helps that Becky, like the fact that we all knew that Becky was there tonight. Mm-hmm. And two, I don't think it helped with the build going into this match, because I think it's fair to say that this wasn't the greatest build going into this match. So you almost wanted to see something. And I think maybe seeing those surprises right off the bat are a little bit too much now. And maybe the fans expected that they were going to get all these amazing returns or surprises, that maybe this was one of them. So I think they're almost anticipating for it. And I don't know. I just think that narrative was kind of there for them. So I don't really blame the fans for chanting this. Plus, if they want Becky over the other two, I mean, who are we to say that that's not what the fans really wanted? But with that being said, I did think that if they're chanting Becky, they kind of maybe forgot that they were seeing an absolute classic right in front of their eyes.
And I think it changed. Like once the match really hit its high gear, They stopped chanting it. They got into the match. They were cheering for Charlotte. They were cheering for Rhea. They were booing Charlotte. They were booing Rhea. And then WWE still can't figure out what the hell a disqualification is. And this boggles my mind because we screwed it up last month and we screwed it up again. WWE cannot figure out what a disqualification is. Rhea hits Charlotte with the topper of the table and gets disqualified. Charlotte puts Rhea's foot in between the ring post and the stairs and bashes it 3 times with her foot, and it's good.
Did this ref see that though?
Yeah, he was looking right at it.
Okay.
He's the one who helped Rhea get out, which is really bad.
I think that's kind of like one of those kind of sort of like situations. Like, are you? If you hit somebody with a chair, you can get disqualified. But if I DDT a guy onto a chair,
It's still disqualification.
Yeah, is
It-
it?
The hard part is that WWE came out and they had Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville in the ring, and Adam Pearce gave that bullshit, this is the rules and these are the disqualifications and we take this seriously. And then this is the finish of the match. I'm fine with Charlotte winning. I am a Charlotte mark. I love her to death. I think she's fantastic. Give her the title and let her be. Like, I love Rhea too. Don't get me wrong. Rhea should have won this match. But I'm never going to complain about Charlotte winning. I'm just not. It's who I am.
I think
But-
as of now, Rhea hasn't done enough to keep the title. So I actually think this was the right way to change it. I was hoping that they didn't because I do want to see Rhea as a champion a little longer. However, if this is their way of maybe moving Rhea away, because I thought after seeing Nikki win the Money in the Bank, I thought, oh my God, this is a fantastic way of her finally getting that title shot she never got. But they didn't go there, and I was like, man, but I can still see that being somewhat of a storyline on Raw moving forward. Everyone can say, well, what about Becky? I think Becky's going to SmackDown anyway, so
Me
it doesn't
too.
matter.
I do too.
But with that being said, like, I just want to kind of maybe think out loud here. The steel steps are considered part of the ring, correct?
Mhm.
So if you are to not use them as an actual weapon, like pick them up and hit someone, that would be a disqualification. But
Yeah.
if they're there and they're used in some form and they're not used from a physical way, they're just used as part of a stationary thing, I'm assuming that's okay.
It's kind of like
Uh,
if when you
it's
take the
not-
turnbuckle pad off and you smash a guy's head into the nut, though. Is it? Because is that the same thing?
I don't know. Like I'm trying to make sense here because like
Like
I
it-
still
like-
never
yeah.
understood like why Roman Reigns is allowed to use his like chest protector, or Bianca Belair can use her hair and just whip somebody like can. And it's like, to me, this is all DQ worthy, but I don't know.
Like I said, I just wish it was
ECW.
like I said,
And
I just
Cody's
wish
like,
it was consistent.
Well, and Cody says just give the ref bump there for Charlotte, target the knee, and I say nothing. I'm assuming he means the refs
Yeah.
standing
Yeah.
watching, trap the knee and kick it in the stairs. That's just the wrong way to fit. Yeah, to me, and I know. So I have a feeling
I mean,
Spencer hated this match because he did predict Rhea winning via disqualification.
At the very
That
least,
would have tied, but yeah. So this kind of makes me go a little bit.
at the very least, if the referee saw it when Charlotte put Rhea's leg into the steps thing, he should have started up at least a 5 count. You know, to be like, hey, she's in the steps or whatever. 1, 2,
Well,
get her out of there. You know
What I didn't like, it seemed like the ref stopped counting them from the outside, and that's the little thing I didn't like.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
If
But
you're
I
going to
mean-
make disqualifications part of this story, then you've got to be consistent. Like, that's the only problem is with the Rhea thing last month with the table topper. They made that. And by the way, I've never, ever seen somebody get disqualified for using the announce table as a weapon.
I've seen
like,
matches
no.
where guys get
Yeah,
slammed
it's like-
through that.
Exactly.
And
So that's why I'm like that's where it irritates me because like that was the reason they gave for the disqualification. And then Adam Pearce came out and said his stupid thing that made me laugh. because I'm like, really, this is bad. You can't sit here and pretend with a straight face that this is how we're going to rule this. And then this month, like I said, just be consistent. Like, if you're going to disqualify one, you've got to keep the disqualification going so that at SummerSlam we get a no DQ match.
And I
what
highly
if
doubt
what if
that
this
they
is
are
the angle going into Raw tomorrow? Sorry to cut you off, Goose.
No,
what
you're
if
fine.
This is the angle going on tomorrow where Rhea comes in saying there should have been a disqualification. If this was a disqualification last month, like
I was just going to say, I don't think that they're sophisticated enough to actually incorporate the whole point into the storyline, you know? So,
I mean, who knows? I mean, it's WWE. They surprise us in good and bad ways.
But the match was fantastic, and that's
the
really
match was
the that we should
absolutely
do.
amazing.
Yeah, that match was by the way, it was my match of the night. Like, I love the men's Money in the Bank match, but I thought this was the match of the night.
I had it on the match of the night until I saw Edge and Roman Reigns. I'm not gonna lie, that match was just exactly what a main event should be.
I'm going to give a little bit of a tip to the hat. It's too slow for me. A 30-minute Roman match is a little too much for me.
See, that's why I love it. But I mean, we'll get there.
I don't mind this. I would say we'll get there. But.
We'll get there. I can feel we got plenty enough because we do have, I think, one of the best moments coming, and that was Big E becoming the men's Money in the Bank winner. And I say a good moment because he deserves it. An amazing match here, but also he became the very first Black person to win Money in the Bank. I checked this history. He was the very first African-American to win Money in the Bank, which is a very historic moment. And knowing what all he has done to help raise awareness for Black history, whether it's through his tights and through that artwork and things like that, him becoming the first Black man or Black person to have won this Money in the Bank and being down in history, I mean, that's just an amazing thing. And he is one guy that no one, I think, will say he doesn't deserve it.
Oh, no. I think Big E.
But I will say Ricochet stole this match for me. That guy had one of the best performances.
What about KO and his never-ending spine? My God. Now, I got a question for you. You guys are professional wrestlers.
He didn't really have a backbone when he was a heel. Why should he start now as a babyface?
You guys are professional wrestlers. Have you guys had a ladder match before?
Yes, I've been in 9 of them.
Okay, I'll be honest.
Suck.
I was gonna say I've talked to you guys a couple times. I've never known too much about your guys' career. How bad does it hurt to get spine first on the ladder?
Sucks.
How do you walk afterwards?
You do it gingerly.
Bow-legged and gingerly.
I mean, nine times out of 10, I have a lot of drinks at the after party, and that kind of rubs it off. But I mean, no, it's like, man, it sucks. It really sucks.
KO took 2 really, really rough shots on those ladders. With the one where he got the spine first on the assisted power bomb, and then the power bomb where he almost landed on his neck outside the ring from Seth.
There was one where Nakamura gave him like a inverted exploder suplex onto a ladder too.
Yeah,
which was
KO despite these bumps though actually had my laugh out loud moment of this match, and I don't know if anybody else saw it, but they recreated Ricochet's elimination from McIntyre from the Rumble where he does his little plancha. McIntyre picks him, throws him up. If anybody noticed, he actually landed right beside Owens, and there's a ladder right there. And Owens just took his head and threw it into the guardrail. And I couldn't stop laughing because I just thought that was so minor, but so hilarious because it's almost like, screw you, you hit me, and then just did one of those. And to me, it just made me laugh. KO was, that guy is becoming the most entertaining superstars, I think, in the last decade for me.
I'm pretty sure my favorite moment of this match was when there was some guys sort of fighting on the ladder, and then there was a bunch of guys on the floor that you weren't really aware of. And then Ricochet was up there, and they pushed the ladder over, and Ricochet caught himself as he's falling off this ladder, landed on the top rope. It sprung him 3 feet up into the air, and he did a front flip onto everybody. And I was like, oh, wow, that was just one of the most amazing things I've ever
On top of that, it
life.
followed right after he catwalked across and jumped onto the ladder.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
that was cool too.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
My
This is
favorite
man,
part of that
in
whole
succession.
And my favorite part of that whole sequence is we've seen Ricochet do that ladder spot. We saw that in the NXT match. But my God, we watched Ricochet do all that. And then Matt Riddle was everybody else with his face just like...
Yeah. Matt Riddle is coming down.
Oh my God, perfect comedic timing. Perfect.
And his RKOs tonight were unbelievable. I don't think I popped harder for when he actually hit Seth Rollins, because we did have that. I think it was beforehand where Seth Rollins actually had said like he has no business wanting to wrestle Riddle. And this is back when like Riddle is kind of seemingly pissing off everyone. Like Goldberg didn't want to work with him.
They did squash this and talk about it, and they're good now. But yes.
But it's nice to see the interaction, because these guys, anytime they've done anything, they just gelled right. And I'd like to see this. I really like Nakamura and Riddle exchanging. This might be one of those matches where if you're a fan of Nakamura from New Japan and you like the hard-hitting style that Riddle brings, this very well could be a match for you.
I'm excited to see what the draft does with some of these guys, because there could be some real interesting matches coming up if the draft goes the way it might go, and we get a Nakamura on Raw, and we have guys like Riddle and Orton and Kofi and people like that for Nakamura. That could be fun.
I want to see
even
Rick Boogs interacting with John Morrison.
And Goose, you kind of put it out there, because right before the match, we had the segment backstage with Riddle, Boogs, and Nakamura, where Riddle is asking Boogs to do Orton's theme song, and Orton's just in the background, just shaking his head like, "What am I seeing?" And he's doing the same. Yeah, sorry, and he's doing the same thing in the ring. Just unbelievable comedy gold right here.
I wish I could talk about this, but this is when Peacock decided it didn't want to work anymore. So I missed everything post Charlotte Rhea all the way up until about 5 minutes into Money in the Bank. I started watching on a Twitch stream that I shouldn't have been watching, and then that crashed, and because WWE found out about it, because everybody was flocking to it from Peacock. And yeah, no, Peacock really, really, really took a hit tonight. When you've got Dave Meltzer criticizing your app, you know you've done something wrong. And Dave Meltzer was on. Yeah,
and he's the most positive guy on social media, I believe, right?
Well, no, but I mean, at least. But he normally doesn't bash the apps. He normally just bashes the product.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, when in Rome, right? But no, speaking of which, Big E becomes the Money in the Bank. Absolutely. Like that big ending off the ladder onto Seth Rollins, that was huge.
It looked like a good way to hurt your shoulder.
A good way to hurt your shoulder was the spot where he didn't get all he needed to get of the spear in the beginning of the match. It almost looked like he spiked himself again.
Yeah. Also, honorable mention to John Morrison, who I thought had unbelievable athleticism. That guy put on an amazing performance as well. Just with his parkour training, some very innovative ways, and him and Seth working together, I thought was really unique and nice. I was hoping they do a little bit more interaction between those two as the match progressed. But
I like how the story with them didn't end with one of them turning on the other. The match just kind of, devolved, and they weren't working together after Drew.
Seth did deck him in the face with a ladder.
Oh, did he? I missed that part.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I liked when John Morrison did his weird, it was like a 450 barrel roll into an elbow drop. Yeah. I mean, it looked like he might have even completely missed it, but it looked to me like he got some of the elbow, but they didn't re-show it. So, but it was a sick looking move. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's like a weird sideways, jumping off sideways and doing a 450 barrel.
Oh, it was a different kind of corkscrew that I couldn't even call.
Yeah.
But we kind of saw after the match where Seth Rollins was really kind of had his little temper tantrum where he was mad that he didn't win. He said he shouldn't have been in this match. He should have been in the Universal match that Edge stole. Very much foreshadowing the next and final match of the evening, the main event for the Universal Championship. Edge gets his one-on-one match against Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. I mean, to me, this is how you do a main event.
It was a good main event for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, despite the fact that it ended in a distraction finish or whatever, it was a lot of fun.
See, and I thought they went more old school with the storytelling tonight, and I actually very much appreciated it, simply because it's old school that instead of Edge taking a clean loss here, it directs him somewhere else. So it really just kind of takes him into a different path before he gets back to it, because it's like, oh, he would have won, but then Rollins came, and we even saw that afterwards where Rollins kind of told Roman Reigns, it's like, you would have lost if it wasn't for me. Remember this. And I just thought that was really cool to see those interactions. I thought it was really cool that the Mysterios came back out to help out Edge. To me, it's still freaking weird to see Dominic Mysterio and Edge in the same ring.
Yeah,
in any light, like pretty surreal. Ed, we'll turn to you on this match to begin. What were your thoughts? What were your takeaways? Because it was just absolutely amazing. And then the return of John Cena. I mean, who could have predicted this?
I mean, everybody on the internet seemingly predicted it, but no, I mean, I love this match. Like I said earlier, I could have done with it being 5-10 minutes shorter. Instead of being 33, let's say we go 20, 23, 25. I'm cool with that. But this Roman has hit a new level of storytelling that is absolutely remarkable. He feels like there's nothing holding him back. It feels like everything he wants to do, he gets to do. If he wants to tell a story, he's telling the story, and it's coming across the way he wants to. Edge is a perfect foil for him because Edge has always been a fantastic storyteller through everything he's ever done. So, I mean, I think that was great. I did like the fact that they tried to lower the lights so that you didn't see the Mysterios in the background when the Usos were coming out, as the Usos were followed by the Mysterios.
I was like, hey, there's the Usos. They're coming out. Oh, the Mysterios are right behind them.
Yeah, and then they lowered the lights real quick, and then they brought them back up again in the background. But no, I mean, it was a killer match. This Roman can't be beat in the ring and on the mic. The dude is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, Goose, we'll go to you. Your thoughts and takeaways from this match.
I'm right there with Ed. I thought it was fantastic. I think that Roman is getting a lot out of I think that one of the things I noticed about Roman is he's doing a lot of facial expression stuff going on, like the whole oh, I saw the fear in your eyes, and you see his eyes go all wide and stuff during the video package and stuff. It was like, oh yeah, no, that's a legit thing. And then they had the other shot of him from I think it was from a couple weeks ago where he's hugging the two cousins and you just see his face there, and it's like, oh, this guy is a sinister dude, so he's getting a lot out of that. As far as the whole match goes, it was awesome. There's everything was old school, overbooking, right? Everything goes until there's just nothing that can go on. Then the ref gets taken out. Then, the Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso come out. Then the Mysterios come out and Seth Rollins comes out. Then, he comes back. It was all just completely epic stuff. And my one issue was that it was okay, the dream match between Edge and Roman Reigns is essentially to set up a dream match between Seth Rollins and Edge, which is going to be a good match. And John Cena versus Roman Reigns is also going to be good. So I'm not I'm not disappointed, but that was one of the things I did notice. I was like, oh, this dream match is kind of just happening to set up a different one.
Yeah, and before we go anywhere, Dara Amazing, we thank you so much for joining in. Hello to you. How did you enjoy the show? We're just covering off the main event right now. What I liked is that you may not have seen the last of Roman Reigns versus Edge, and if they wanted to go chapter 2, it's okay because you didn't have to really give anybody a definitive answer yet. You can continue this. This is still, to me, a WrestleMania worthy main event, and you still don't know who actually can win between the two. There's still unfinished business, and that's why I like the fact that there's like a roadblock for Edge to get to Roman, and maybe for Roman there's a roadblock before he can get back to Edge. And I just think like that's an amazing storytelling. And now I think that Universal title picture has some real depth when you add a John Cena, when you add a Seth Rollins to this, because now it can go 4 different ways. And I think this is really beneficial for SmackDown and its main event scene. And I think the addition of John Cena is going to help just even more so establish Roman Reigns as a megastar, not just the star in WWE. It very well could be a passing of the torch match for Roman Reigns. What do you guys think of that?
I mean, like, I hope that they have a good match, Roman and Cena. I think that they'll have a banger for sure.
I mean, they had their first match was really good. It was a kind of throwaway thing that they did at No Mercy a few years ago, but that Roman couldn't stick with John Cena.
They were both
Roman,
like. Sorry, I was just like at that time they were both kind of like guys that like WWE was like, hey, here's our two top baby faces, and and all the fans are like, yeah, we don't care about either of these guys, you know, like they're like, boo, John Cena, he sucks, and oh, Roman Reigns, no. But now it's like Roman is like a legit bad guy, and we haven't seen Cena in such a long time that
that reaction John Cena got today was deafening. It was deafening.
I was going like, you know what, it might be cool if at like SummerSlam they like somehow reverse it, because like it wouldn't surprise me if John Cena came out at one point here after like a couple of weeks and suddenly people are just back to like booing John Cena because that's the thing to do, you know?
They were doing it tonight.
Yeah.
They were chanting John Cena sucks as soon as he came out.
Yeah, I think John Cena's going to get that anyway. It's just, to me, it's
fine.
Like, it's a Kurt Angle thing too, like right? Like he's going to get that. I think John Cena embraces it as long as people make noise. He doesn't care what kind of noise it is. But I think too, it's almost kind of just like that's what you do with John Cena. You do the John Cena sucks, and then you just do all this stuff with it. Like it's like, let's go Cena. Cena sucks. Like that's a chant.
Reigns will get cheered at SummerSlam though.
Yeah. Everybody gets cheered when it's against Kurt. When it's against John. I mean, it's rare that John Cena gets anybody booed anymore. My question is there any chance that this match is about respect and bragging rights and the title's not on the line?
What? No.
Well, here's my response. Why would John Cena give up a chance to be the 17-time world champion?
Yeah.
Because he said in multiple interviews that he doesn't want to win the title. Like I said, I'm just saying, is there a chance that Cena comes out here and he's like, and Roman's like, you haven't earned the title. You've not been here in 2 years. Why do you get a title shot? You're here. You want me. You get me for respect and bragging rights, but nothing else.
No, it's John Cena.
I agree. It's the title match. I'm just saying, was there any world where this doesn't have a title on the line?
There's a few people who are on that list of people that are like, okay, if they come back, they get a title match automatic. Shawn Michaels wants a title match. Shawn Michaels gets one. Undertaker wants one. He gets one. Goldberg apparently wants one. He gets one. Rock, Cena, Stone Cold, Steve Austin, CM Punk, any of these guys want a title shot. They've pretty much got one whenever they're willing to come and wrestle, you know? So
I just figured it'd be worth bringing up.
See, I think that's exactly how Roman Reigns should pursue this.
Yeah.
Why do you deserve a title match? Why do you deserve that? Who do you think you are interrupting me in my biggest moment? You have to acknowledge me now as the face of WWE. Things like that. Maybe John Cena does that if he was to lose at SummerSlam. That would be really cool. I would love to see Roman Reigns submit John Cena at SummerSlam. To me, that's a statement win.
Mhm.
But I just think it's pro wrestling. Egos are all. How do you not just come on 17 times? Yeah, I know he says he doesn't want it, but that's out of respect for Ric Flair. That's the human talking. John Cena, the wrestler. I mean, come on, he's got to do it for all the kids, right?
Somebody had to ask the question.
I know.
Yeah,
But-
I love from Cena's perspective. I don't see how it would work because, like I say, what's he going to show up and be like? I just want to beat you up for the fun of it, or I just want to beat you up because you're like a dickhead and I don't like you. Like, I don't.
But I mean, I think it would get the crowd it would. Like, we all have this reaction with Goldberg, where Goldberg comes back and he's like, I'm getting a title match, and everybody groans and goes, oh, Goldberg's here. Like, I think people, now granted, some people may still do that with John Cena, but if this match wasn't about the title, I think the people would be so much more, and plus, if this match isn't for the title, maybe Cena wins. Like,
maybe Cena wins
if this match is
anyway.
for, I mean, maybe, but I mean, I can't see them putting the title on Cena.
I can.
No, I
John
think this match,
Cena.
I honestly believe this match is just to make Roman Reigns that next level of superstar and to go from the big star here to a mega star bigger, because it's John Cena. It's not just John Cena, the 16-time world champion. It's John Cena, the Hollywood actor, and also the 60. It's John Cena, the mega.
It's the next step to The Rock.
Yeah, and it's one of, to me, this is putting Roman Reigns on that different platform, just like Hogan did for The Rock and The Rock did for Cena. We saw the kind of the generational torch pass, and that's where I honestly believe this is your generational torch pass from John Cena out. I think that's kind of the right thing. And then if John Cena wants, he can then have matches with other people, whether it's
Nakamura.
Well, yeah. When you think about this, you can get John Cena against whoever, but I mean, we're in a time frame where we can legitimately talk about another match between John Cena and Edge. Like what? Like the storytelling these two are capable of doing. That's just absolutely amazing.
I want to see John Cena versus Almost.
Man, I want to see John Cena against Walter, to be honest. Or Keith Lee. That would be amazing. But now we're just getting into fantasy matchups where maybe this is a good indication of what we could talk about next Sunday on Sunday Brunch, because that's what we do. We talk about.
Do you guys think it's interesting that Roman's coming out with the shirt that says "Acknowledge me" on it, and then Cena's whole thing is "You can't see me"? So it's like Roman wants everybody to look at him and acknowledge him, whereas Cena just.
It's polar. It's fantastic. It's why this.
Roman Reigns has said in a promo with John Cena that he is the one superstar that John Cena can't see, and it just goes back. Everything fits back. These two have history, and the fact that they're coming back to this, where Roman Reigns is a completely different element and a superstar now than what he was before. That's what makes this matchup, I think, to me, fresh and something I want to see again.
You know what'll ultimately win the match for John Cena, though? Family.
If we see Vin Diesel at SummerSlam, I'm going to be livid. If we see Vin Diesel at SummerSlam, I'm going to be livid.
I think that would be awesome. I
might be furious. But with that being said, I think this is the perfect time to end Love Wrestling Reacts with the Money in the Bank edition. We thank everyone for joining us. And I really want to just say that we acknowledge our fans as being some of the best and most loyal people. I also want to acknowledge RK Athletics for not only being our sponsor, but being just such an amazing place to go to help educate us on the whole art of fitness. And if anybody wants to come and see Love Wrestling a little bit more, make sure you check out all of the socials that are tickering down at the bottom here. Make sure you go to ratethispodcast.com/Love Wrestling, see it, and make sure that you vote for us because we want to be number one. We want people to know who we are because we want to give you the best stuff with the best platform. But speaking of platforms, this is kind of now where we go around. And Goose, where can everyone find you, my friend?
Well, you can find me flying high between the ropes or any real Canadian wrestling events, which we actually have 4 of this week. We got one coming in Thursday, Red Deer, Friday, Calgary, Saturday, Edmonton, and then Sunday in Radway, Alberta. Also, my T-shirts are available at the link displayed at the bottom of the screen. This is one of them. It's a very nice T-shirt, and all the proceeds do really help to support me. So please go to Pro Wrestling Tees, just do a search for Goose, and you'll find my stuff. And you can acquire tickets for RCW Wrestling through me or anyone else that's in the wrestling promotion. So yeah, come check it out. It's a good time.
Ed, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at edfries12584. You can find me either here in almost every one of the Love Wrestling chats. You can also find me moderating for Tom Collihue on twitch.tv/Tom Collihue during his watch parties and spoiler warning.
And I believe Dara was asking what will be the show in October. I want to say it is Extreme Rules this year.
That would be that'd be my best guess considering they moved Hell in the Cell.
They should do Halloween Havoc. That'd be awesome.
I quickly Googled the schedule this year, so it did say Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules apparently moved to September.
Where are you, Parrish? What's going on with the big "Be Our Guest" sign in the background?
I'm in my guest bedroom in my house.
Oh, and you just have.
This is where I always go. It's just a completely different viewpoint. So okay. I had to rearrange my setup because I did a watch along with Fightful last night. But nonetheless, you can also follow me at Chris Parrish on the Instagram and at the Twitter and on the Twitch at the Chris Parrish. Make sure you follow Love Wrestling and make sure you guys stay safe, have fun, love pro wrestling, and we thank every single one of you for reacting with us. Have a great night and take care.
Good night, guys. Thank you.